My friends, Salamun Alaikum. It's great to be with you for another discussion. I look forward to sharing some, I think, very healthy and important thinking around a verse or a few verses of the Holy Qur'an. And in this discussion, I want to deal with a paradox, with a contradiction that most Muslims seem to live. And that contradiction is we seem to act in unison. We seem to act as if we ought to act in a group, as if we should be looking and copying the next guy's behavior, and that would make us comfortable. So that is the thing I want to discuss, the need for us to follow the crowd. And yet, every Muslim believes in the Day of Judgment, don't we? We all believe that we shall account for our actions on one special day, which is not long off. You must always remember the Day of Judgment is not the ultimate Day of Judgment, right? That day when we face the Creator is not long. I always repeat this, and I want to repeat it again for you. Judgment is not a long time off. You will live another whatever. If you are a young man, you live 50, 60, 70 years. If you're an old man, you live another 5, 10, 15 years. My friends, that which you have left in this current life is the time that is left for you to give account for your acts. And I've explained this in the past for you, that when we pass away, when we die, when the soul is given up, we stop experiencing time, because time is a feature that goes with this earthly existence, with this body. We give up time, and we lose the concept of time. There can be no time measured if you are not in space and in time. When your earthly existence stops, time stops. Like a night when you go to bed, time stops because your consciousness stops, and then time stops while you have no consciousness, while your normal consciousness stops. So the contradiction I want to raise is the one where Muslims believe in judgment. They believe that they should act in unison, that they should follow the crowd, and they feel comfortable with the crowd. And yet the Qur'an very, very unambiguously and clearly states that accountability shall be individual. That means you are supposed to make up, whether you follow the crowd or not, you are held responsible individually. Just take a look at this verse and tell me if this is not unambiguous. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. لَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَا فُرَادَى كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. Today you return to us individually as we made you initially. You left behind all that we entrusted to you in your earthly life. We have no sight of your we have no sight of your intermediaries with you, those in your society who you co-opted alongside God. All these connections have now been dissolved. That which you had such regard for has forsaken you. That is an unambiguous statement, that all these crowds, all these groups, all these jamaas, all these leaders that you followed, that you stuck to, that you felt comfortable with, they're nowhere to be seen. You're now alone, and now you have to account. And if you say, look, Allah asks you, look, you believe that, you told people to marry a 7-year-old girl is fine. And you say, yeah, but Allah, I saw it. The Sheikh said it's fine. Then Allah will ask you, but what do you think about it? Where's your proof? Atu burhanakum. Bring proof of what you said. Where was the knowledge? What knowledge was that based on? And then you say, no, Allah, it was in Bukhari. The Prophet believed, the Prophet Muhammad said Bukhari. And then Allah will say, where's the proof that Bukhari is speaking with authority, with my authority? And you say, no, but Imam Shafi'i, he said that Bukhari is like the word of the Prophet is the word of Allah. Whatever the Prophet says is the will of Allah. Then you're going to argue like that, and then Allah is going to point you to that same chapter that I just read, 6.94, and He's going to say, what have you read here? What have you read here? chapter 6, verse 93. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو قال أوحي إلي ولم يوحى إليه شيء ومن قال سأنزل مثل ما أنزل الله. Who is more wicked than a person who makes up lies in God's name, or a person who claims, I received divine inspiration, when he received no such divine inspiration? Bukhari received no divine inspiration. He was writing what he heard, and those people were writing what they heard, and those people were saying what they heard. Or a person who claims, I shall reveal an equivalent, or a person who claims, I shall reveal an equivalent revelation to God's revelation. If you could only observe the wicked in the throes of death, when the angels stretch their hands out, calling out, give up your soul, today you are repaid, humiliating torture for claiming untruths in the name of God, while elevating yourselves above His directives. My brothers and sisters, I hope you have enough proof that those books that you believe in, that those words that you claim to be the words of God, besides this one Qur'an, which is the true word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I hope you are going to face God alone and have your facts in order. Because you can fight me, you can write me dirty messages on YouTube on my comments. You can tell me I'm talking, but you won't be able to use that argument one day when you face the Lord of the universe. Then it's on your own. And that's why I ask you, my brothers and sisters, let us reflect, contemplate, and build our beliefs, our understanding, our worldview with bricks that are solid facts. Bricks, facts are the bricks that build up our understanding. And if you take a brick that is not a brick, that is a piece of dung, you are not building a solid understanding. You are building a flawed understanding. You see, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we believe that he lived and he gave healthy, sound leadership. And then when he passed away, he left behind an authoritative book which he signed off on. He had the witnesses. Every verse in the text of the Qur'an is written down and witnessed by more than two people, as it should be. He handed down a legacy which he treated like a legacy. Witnesses, written down. He had so many secretaries that wrote the text and the verses, and that is how he left it. There are those who believe that he even tapped somebody for being in charge of compiling that text, of rendering that, of making sure that text is healthy. And that person is the person of Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. So, my friends, that is in any case how a large part of the Muslim world feels. The Zaydi, the Ithna Ashari, is that he didn't die and leave this book there to be compiled by all and sundry and by kings and sultans. He had a man there, the man who buried him, who married his daughter, who had his grandchildren, who was the father of his grandchildren, was the man who compiled it. And so we come to the point of, what is the legacy of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam? Is it the 100,000 hadiths, millions of hadiths with lies and truths and impossibilities and with nonsense involved, all included in it? Or is the legacy of the Prophet the book, the Qur'an, and the people that he left to make sure that that book is handed over and correctly studied over the years? My friends, that is the way I tell you that it makes sense. And if you believe, no, he never left it in anyone's hands. He let people fight over it, and they had a good fight over it, and they had a good war, and that is how he wanted it. That is how Allah wanted it. There must be war, bloodshed. People must fight over you. Who must be the leader? And then he left 1 million hadith, some strong, some weak, and so that they can fight over that also. So you fight over the leadership, you fight over the Prophet's hadiths. The Sunnis reject the Shia hadith, the Sunni reject their own hadith. The Sunnis spend 50 years studying the hadith and then they're not even an expert yet. How can an ordinary person face God with that kind of confusion, my friends? How can Allah put us through that madness? We must learn a million hadiths to please Him. No, my friends. And we must fight wars and kill each other over who must be the leader. When He says very, very clearly in His book, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. If those who do not rule by what Allah has revealed, they are kafir. So don't say the Arabs are good people, the Arabs in Jordan, the king of Jordan, the king of Saudi Arabia, the king of this. Ulaika humul kafirun. They are not Muslim, my friends. You follow them, you go to hell with them. And even the priests also. So my brothers and sisters, it's a strong message, but it's a message that I want to leave with you. You need to find the people that are ruling with the Qur'an. Find those people. I found those people. I found them. I mention them often here. You go and find them. And then you stick with them. And then you stick with the Qur'an. And that, my friends, is how we shall meet Allah individually and be able to not be afraid of this verse. It says, today you are returning to us individually. My friends, that's a short message for today. It's Friday. I hope it adds to, and it's a voice that will stand out amongst all the nonsensical voices that will be heard on a Friday. All those who will speak to you today will speak half lies and half baseless stuff and some truths. But my brothers, I think I've given you something to think about. Alhamdulillah.